वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. The one Lord Vasudeva who resides in all, the son of Vasudeva, of course, and Devaki, the destroyers of demons like Kamsa and Chanura. But above all, the shloka says, Vande Jagat Gurum, the universal master, not belonging to one region, one sect, one caste, one religion, but his teachings are universal in nature. To such a Sadguru, to such a Guru, to Jagat Guru that Krishna is, we bow down to on this auspicious day of Krishna Janmashtami. అవతరించుట ఎనుటిలో అర్థమేమి జనులపై ప్రీతి వాత్సల్య పరతతోడ వారి స్థాయికి దైవంబు దిగి వచ్చి జీవప్రజ్ఞతో బాటుగా దైవప్రజ్ఞ is what is said of an avatar. An avatar, out of immense compassion and love for humanity, for the world, descends to their level in a body, in a form, with a name, and with a purpose. And when he descends, he has both one, Jiva Prajna, which is the individual consciousness, and Daiva Prajna, which is the divine consciousness. Now, what does that mean? Individual consciousness, the Jiva Prajna, and also simultaneously the divine consciousness, Daiva Prajna. Daiva Prajna means at all times, in all situations, at all places, the avatar is always aware, completely conscious of his divinity. At the same time, while acting in the world, having taken up a name and a form, certain attributes, and so-called a mission or a purpose, it behaves in a certain way. And that is the Jiva Prajna. Shirdi Baba would take all the food from all the houses which were given to him while he went around, and he will mix everything and eat it together. And mostly the food consisted of the North Indian food, Maharashtrian food of chapatis, lentils, some vegetables, and once in a while a little jaggery or so. Satya Sai, on a very simple basis, if you see, ate a certain kind of food that it was to his liking. And likewise, there were many differences in personality traits, behavioral traits, the language that they spoke, the kind of messages they gave. In everything, there was definitely a lot of difference. The essence may be one and the same. Like the essence of all the food that is eaten is one and the same. But the taste, the shape, the way it is prepared, and the way it is enjoyed is different for different food. The purpose is one, to get energy out of that food which is eaten and digested. Similarly, avatars come with their own attributes, their own names, their own forms, their own purpose, their own area, as he said, the play area, the area where they want to play out their role in the world. And they choose everything according to their liking. Nobody else can choose for them. They choose their parents, they choose their place, they choose what kind of people should be involved. They choose what kind of messages they have to give, what kind of work they must undertake. Everything is chosen by the avatar. Completely. Not one thing is a coincidence over there. May appear like one, like Krishna chose to be born in a jail. That's not a very pleasant place to be born. However, he chose, then who can stop that if he chose to be born in a jail? Given a choice, who wants to be born in a jail? No one. But Krishna chose, who could question that? Nobody can question him. He chose to be born in such difficult circumstances. And his own uncle was attempting on his life, even when he was a little baby, just born. And somehow the father, Vasudeva, took him across the flooded Yamuna river and put him into the cradle of Yashoda. And you know the story. And brought back Yashoda's daughter. And Kamsa was fooled into thinking that the eighth child is a girl. But the girl said, I am Mahamaya, I am not ordinary. I always accompany the Lord. Wherever Vishnu is there, Vishnu Maya is also there. So Kamsa tried to kill the Maya of Krishna and got killed by Krishna's Maya. This Maya part of Krishna is the Jiva Prajna. The Vishnu part of Krishna is the Daiva Prajna. However, the Maya of the avatar is so very attractive. Like the magic tricks of a magician are so attractive. We forget that to watch the magician, we are busy watching the magic tricks. Likewise, the Maya of Vishnu, the Maya of Krishna is, the Jiva Prajna of Krishna is far more attractive. And at times it clouds, it covers the Daiva Prajna of Krishna. Who he is, truly who he is. You may think killing of Kamsa, killing of so many Rakshasas of various varieties, all kinds of species of Rakshasas, as animals, as birds, as snakes, as humans, as kings, even female, male, all kinds of things he has done. He has killed so many of them. You think that is Krishna, that is Krishna's personality, so powerful, mightier than the mightiest. But that is Jiva Prajna of Krishna, not the Daiva Prajna. Or you think the sweet flute of Krishna, which attracted animals and men alike, and people rushed to his presence, unable to stay away from that mesmerizing, hypnotizing music of the flute. And they rushed to his presence. And we thought that is Krishna. That is also Jiva Prajna of Krishna only. The little cowherd boy, very charming, very adorable, will play flute and entertain everyone, and then make pranks and keep everybody on their toes, and so many leelas that would happen. But all this is Jiva Prajna of Krishna only. Then you thought, no, Krishna grew up, killed Kamsa, and became the kingmaker, put his grandfather on the throne, and then he went about engaging with Pandavas and training them, taking them forward, and they became very close to Krishna. Earlier Pandavas were not very close to Krishna. But eventually, Krishna was always with them, and they were always receiving advice and guidance from Krishna about every aspect of life, including their own political aspects and how to go about dealing with the enemies that they had. In every little thing of their life, they sought Krishna's advice. He became a very good friend, a guide, a counselor to them. We thought that is Krishna's personality, how he saved Pandavas from all kinds of difficulties and ultimately even fought a war, at least assisted them in fighting the war and saved them and rightfully restored the kingdom of Hastinavati to them, to the Pandavas. Therefore, Krishna is great. That's again the Jiva Prajna of Krishna. The only Daiva Prajna of Krishna, the manifestation, the vision or the darshan of his Daiva Prajna is seen in when he becomes Gita Acharya, when he becomes Jagat Guru. And he speaks of the highest truth. He never spoke elsewhere that I am the one who dwells in all. There is nothing beyond me. I am the Adi, Anta, Madhya of everything. In this tone, these words, he didn't speak to the Gopikas. He didn't speak to his grandfather king, not even to his parents. He didn't speak about this to the Pandavas or to the so-called his family members. All the time he was dealing with them through his Jiva Prajna only, the individual Krishna as the body and the form and the name and whatever the powers and attributes that he had. The only time he showed his Daiva Prajna was when he imparted the highest of the wisdom through Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, or we may say through Arjuna to the whole of humanity. That is when he really gave a glimpse, he parted the curtain of Jiva Prajna and allowed the humanity to have a peep at his Daiva Prajna. Likewise, all avatars. Look at Sri Rama. You think Rama killing Ravana is a Daiva Prajna? No. That's also Rama's Jiva Prajna. He was a very mighty warrior. And he could do very powerful things because he was trained to do so. He learnt all Astra Vidyas from so many gurus and behaved like any other person who would go to a Gurukula, to a guru, behave well and earn many powers and Shastra Vidya. So if he killed Ravana by walking all the way and building a stone bridge across the ocean, finally reaching Lanka and then killing Ravana, all this was part of his Jiva Prajna only. Therefore, Avatar Jiva Prajna occupies or covers, clouds the Daiva Prajna most of the times. And so it is difficult to at times understand the avatars, understand their behavior, understand what they are going about doing. The world may miss the Daiva Prajna of the avatar all the time. They may be busy with the Jiva Prajna, very beautiful avatar, very charming, feel like sitting at his feet, don't feel like leaving his presence. And he does so many nice things for us. He teaches us many nice things. He's so kind, compassionate, all kinds of things. But the core of an avatar's heart is the Daiva Prajna. The reason why avatar comes is, or he descends, is for the ascent of all. That is the main purpose, and every other purpose is only superimposed upon it. The descent of an avatar is only for the ascent of mankind. It may happen in many ways. It may happen through their leelas, it may happen through their mahimas, it may happen through upadeshas, it may happen through seva karikramas. But the ultimate purpose why an avatar descends is only to make man ascend to the divine heights. That is the one and the only purpose of the avatar. But first, the mankind who is so lost in names and forms must be attracted to the avatar. That is why Karshayati iti Krishna attracts people to himself. How do you attract a small child? You can't call the child and tell him, I am going to give you Bhagavad Gita Upadesha, come. No child will come, even elders don't come, why children? So you have to attract them showing chocolates, toffees or some play items which will be the liking, which will be attractive to the child. So like that avatar, Leelas, Mahimas, these are very attractive to the children. And therefore it begins there, Leelas and Mahimas. And all the people are attracted. he has some supernatural powers. He can do some superhuman things. He can disappear, he can appear, he can cure illnesses, he can read people's minds, see the future, tell the past. This is the way he attracts. That's why Karshati iti Krishna. The first two parts of Swami's life, the 216 years, the first 16 and the second 16 were about Leelas and Mahimas. This is the first part of the avatar. Same as Krishna. All his Vrindavan days, Gokulam days, even early Mathura days, all are Leela Mahimas only. Just now she was telling the story of Kubja. And Shri Krishna lands in Mathura. Now how does he attract the people of Mathura? How does he announce his presence? The most famous lady in Mathura is this Kubja. If he does something to her, the whole Mathura will come to know. By word of mouth, some miraculous thing has happened. What has happened? This Krishna boy came all the way, and this lady is so distorted and ugly, he just touched her and straightened her. And now she is a beautiful woman with no distortions in the body. This was his way to attract the attention of whole of Mathura. Similarly, when he reached Vrindavan, he had his own way of attracting attention of all the people, be it killing of the demons or doing all kinds of other leelas with the gopikas, rasa leela, suddenly becoming many. These were his ways of attracting people. Every avatar does that, Swami does that. Leela Mahima, first two phases of the avatar, were Sankarshana, Karshayati iti Krishna. Then the next two phases, Upadesha, Vidya. Upadesha, Para. Vidya, Apara. In both ways he attracted people. Same thing Krishna does. What does he do? He has already attracted them. Now, he works. Krishyati iti Krishna. He puts efforts. Once he has brought his people to himself, now he teaches them. Now he gives them the higher wisdom for which he has come. That is the phase of Krishna's life when he joined the Pandavas and started spending a lot of time with Pandavas, Arjuna especially, because the second phase of his avatar mission had started. Swami did that too. Karshayati, first phase. Krishyati, put lot of effort, going around the country, giving upadeshas, talking to people, giving in endless interviews, accepting invitations, traveling on invitations, staying at people's homes. Lot of work, Upadesha time. And Vidya. When he finished going around and teaching, he established his own education so that people come to him, to his ashram, to his education, young and old, and learn from him. This is how he first went around. Krishna went about making friendship with Pandavas, and later Pandavas were the ones who came to Krishna for everything. So Swami did that. Upadesha, Vidya, these 16 plus 16 years were spent mainly to teach. Attraction is over, grabbing their attention is over. Next is Upadeshas. This is the second phase of the avatar. Krishyati iti Krishna. So from Sankarshana phase came the Sandarshana phase. Started meeting people, talking to them, guiding them. And then the last phase. 2 more 16 years are left. And what does he do? Now he raises the consciousness of those who have come to him. Akhila manavulaku anandamunu kuchi. I must give ananda to all, not sukha, not pleasures, not relief from sorrows and difficulties and miseries of life. I must raise them, give them the ultimate ananda, which comes only when you realize your true self. And that is the third phase. In Krishna Avatar, Bhagavad Gita came about at that point in time. And he taught the highest wisdom of Brahman, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya through Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a long epic, many shlokas. But the essence of Bhagavad Gita, if you pull it out, this is what it is. That you are none other than Brahman, you are none other than Atman, you are that. The Vedic injunctions, the Vedic truths, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. These are the things which are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, why would you say bodies die, vasamsi vijirnani yatha vihaya? Why would he teach all these greater truths? And he taught how to lead one's life, keeping this Brahman as the focus. That who you truly are, knowing that, lead your life. Yathechasi tatah kuru, he said. As you feel like doing, you do that. When? Only after you have realized the truth. Paramaguhyam, he says, I am teaching you the greatest of the secrets about me. That I am only everything. I am in all. Sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, sarvabhutani chatmani. This is the truth I am teaching you. This is the ultimate truth I am teaching you, Arjuna. Keep aside the politics and the battle and the issues of the day-to-day things. This is the ultimate wisdom I am teaching you. And once you learn this wisdom, the highest one, after learning, do as you please, he says to Arjuna. Yathechasi, as you feel, you do. Once you know you are Brahman, then you behave in the world as you feel like. And that is how the last phase of the avatar. Krishna's last phase was Bhagavad Gita. Satya Sai's last two phases, as I said, 16 divided into 6 phases. Roughly put, it is Vaidya and Sanatana Dharma. Vaidya may be physically considered as curing the physical ailments, putting people in the hospitals, operating them for free and giving them their requirements of life and saving them. No, the real Vaidya is what? Ajnana sarpadashtasya brahmajnana aushadhairvina. Shankaracharya says the one who has been bitten by the ignorance of ajnana, bitten by the snake of ignorance, without the brahmajnana as the medicine, kimu shastrahi, kimu vaidehi. What is the use of all the shastras? What is the use of all the Vedas? For such a person, there is no use, who has been bitten by the ignorance that he is just the body and that's the truth of one's life. Such a person only needs one medicine, and that medicine is a Brahma Vidya, that you are none other than God himself. And that Brahma Vidya, Krishna became the Brahma Vidyacharya through Gita Acharya and taught that in Bhagavad Gita. Same thing in Swami's life. Teaching this highest of the Vedantic wisdom to that. And with that, what happens? Dukkha nivritti, ananda prapti. All the sorrows are dispelled, that we are this body and mind and we are such lowly beings, wretched human existence. All these illusions are destroyed. And then what happens? We attain the highest of the bliss, that we are God. We ourselves are Brahman. There is nothing else other than us that exists. We alone exist as Brahman. That is Sanatana Dharma Siddhanta also. And that is Kushyati iti Krishna. He endows, he imparts the highest wisdom. Through that, we are able to experience the highest bliss, Ananda, Kushyati iti Krishna. The one who delights everyone, the one who makes everyone happy is Krishna. And that is the part of the avataric mission. Take these three and compare it with the subtle mission of Swami. We call it subtle mission, gross mission, super subtle mission. That is all nomenclature given by us. But the essence of it is what? The first part of the mission was only about Sankarshana. Attract everybody. How? Go to their homes, tell them something, and then they are surprised, and then they come. Slowly gather all the people who are needed, who are wanted here. Karshati, attraction. That was the first phase. Most of you landed here around that time. Most of the people around the world. First phase kept on from 2011 mid it started and kept on going. That was the first part, Sankarshana. Karshati iti Krishna. Leela Mahima. How does he know all these things about me? How does he know what happened that time? How can he predict that? How can he do that? These kind of questions people asked, and they were surprised, but that attracted them to this mission. And came the second phase. Meeting, traveling, talking, guiding, projects. Krishyati iti Krishna. Hard work. Building up institutions, building up centers across the world, involving everybody to participate, to become one with this idea of Lokakshema, Loka Kalyana. So, Krishyati, lot of efforts, lot of hard work went in the second phase. And in the third phase, Kushyati iti Krishna, Ananda Prapti should be the third phase. You have got attracted to God. You have learnt and worked with God. Now what? What is the end result? End result should be you should experience that bliss of the reality of your existence, the truth of your existence. Kushyati iti Krishna. That is Sankramana going on now. The third phase. Sankramana means Urdhvagamana, ascension. Why does an avatar descend? I told in the beginning, for the ascent of man. And that phase is going on now. And this phase must lead man back to God. Became attracted to the avatar, looking at the Mahimas, Leelas, heard this miracle, that miracle. And then we were charmed by the beauty and the beautiful personality of the avatar. That was only the first phase. That's why we call it primary school. Children have to be attracted by all kinds of games and plays and toys and tricks so that children will stay in the primary school. Otherwise, very difficult to keep the attention of children. And high school, start learning, some serious learning begins. Games are there, play is there, but limited. Now, more of time is spent in learning, practicing. Second phase, high school phase. And the third phase, Sankramana, the ascension from high school to the university. What is this ascension? From the thought that God exists, to the thought that God exists in me and all, to the final thought that God alone exists. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Everything else is just illusion. It's all modifications, reflections of God. But the ultimate truth is only God exists and nothing else exists over here. It appears to exist separate or different from God. But the truth is only God exists, one exists without the second. That is Sankramana. So these three aspects of Krishna's personality, his life's work, these three aspects of Satyasai's personality and life's work, and these three aspects of the present ongoing mission are perfectly in sync. This is the blueprint, this is the master plan on which everything else is working. And now the time has come. Enough we ran behind Leelas and Mahimas and entertained ourselves. Enough the avatars entertained us with their Jiva Prajna. Enough. We have grown up now. Grandfather may become a horse and play with the small child. Does not mean grandfather is small. That time is over. You have grown up now. Then he taught us love all, serve all, work for the welfare of society. That's also done. We have learned that truth. But it doesn't mean we don't give up this. We keep doing that along with what we learnt in primary school, we don't forget in high school. On that only high school knowledge is built. And in the high school we learn certain things. On that only the university knowledge is built. So we learned God exists. He came as Satyasai, beautiful form, attractive, so many leelas, mahimas. People can never get tired. Kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Anytime four devotees get together, they have no idea where the hands of clock are going. Why? Leela, Mahima. This happened to me, that happened to me. Swami saved me like this. Swami did this for me. Swami's love I felt this way. He appeared here. He guided me. He protected me. He saved me. Leela, Mahima, Leela, Mahima, Leela. Oh, going on. That's fine. On that, what did you but what Swami taught? Love everyone, serve everyone. God is in all. Sarvajiva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati. Practice that. Okay, we all got involved in some activity or the other, became a part of the mission and started undertaking some sadhana, some service, whichever way in our own daily lives. Second phase is over. Krishyati, all the hard work. Now the third phase of Sankramana, the ascension is begun. And this is the time when those who have done well in the primary and high school will naturally be able to get into the university. And now the ultimate phases begin, where everybody has no choice but to realize that Krishna is not outside, Sai is not outside, not different from you. You are that. Tattvam Asi, you are that. This is the truth that has to be realized. And that is the phase which is going on right now. That is why so much of emphasis on Advaita Siddhantas. That is why this new modification, long due actually, the changes in the educational system, so that this thought is implanted in young minds from the beginning. They don't have to then unlearn too much to learn this. That is why every center across the world is only to propagate, promote this idea that God alone exists. You as a body, as a mind, and all the objects and people in the world are nothing but God only. They look like different. But they all, if you think deeply, if you analyze and contemplate, you will know the oneness. Bulbs are many. But the electricity that flows through the bulb is one and the same. The buildings are many. But the space that fills this building inside and the space that is outside is one and the same. That truth has to be understood now. And for that sake, this phase has begun and is going on at very, very fast pace. And all those who have done, they have loved avatar, they have experienced and enjoyed the leelas and mahimas. They have served the avatar, they have participated in whatever the avataric mission was in their own way and given up selfishness, self-interest and served selflessly for the sake of the greater good of humanity at the beck and call of the avatar. They must now ascend. Ascend to this idea that you alone are, there is nothing else other than you. God alone is, there is nothing other than God. Brahman alone is, there is nothing other than Brahman. And everything that appears to be other is only an illusion, is a reflection. Like a reflection in the mirror, as good as the real, but then it's a reflection. And that idea should get firmly installed in the minds of all. Krishna did not teach Bhagavad Gita in the beginning. He did not go and give Atma Vidya to people around. He had his own work to do. Leelas, Mahimas attracted, gained popularity. By the time he was 16, the whole of Mathura, Vrindavan, everybody knew that Krishna is a very powerful young boy who is very charming, at the same time supernatural powers he has. He did his work. Then he stayed and guided the Pandavas. That was the major portion of Krishna's life when he was building his mission, Lokak Sangraha mission of establishing dharma. Paritrayanaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. This is what Krishna did. And at the end, finally, before Mahabharata ended, that was more or less the last part of the avataric mission. He built all the way for this. And what did he do? He taught Bhagavad Gita. He taught the ultimate wisdom. Seemingly to a lost Arjuna, a despondent, a confused Arjuna, but not just Arjuna. It says, Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopala nandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. If all the Upanishads are made into a cow and Krishna is the milkman or the cowherd boy who has to milk the cow, then Krishna is milking the cows for whose sake? The milk is for the sake of Arjuna seemingly, the calf is Arjuna. But truth is what? The milk is for everybody else. Cow gives enough milk for the calf and for others. So Krishna made sure that in the name of Arjuna, He gave the highest wisdom to the whole of mankind. And even today, Bhagavad Gita is as valid as it was 5,000 years ago. And it will be valid for the next 5,000 and 50,000 years. Till humanity, human race exists, Bhagavad Gita will be the most valid document. Every other knowledge of science, of technology, of art, literature may undergo change. Like we have seen in the last 100 years itself, so much of changes have happened in technology, the way we communicate, the way we transport ourselves, the way we dress, talk. Everything has changed. Knowledge has continuously been changing. But one knowledge of this Atma Vidya has remained steady. That is why it is Sanatana, that which is ever, which is eternal. This phase, like the last phase of Krishna's mission, like the last phase of Satya Sai mission, like this phase which is going on right now, is all about this Sankramana, ascension of man. He came down in Jiva Prajna, taking a name and a form, for the sake of developing kinship, attracting people unto himself, teaching them how to become pure, how to get ready to receive the ultimate wisdom, how to prepare one's mind and one's life in accordance with his teaching so that he can give the highest at the end. That is the whole purpose of an avatar. And now the highest is being imparted. So all those who have done their homework, all those who have followed the teachings, for them it is no difficulty at all. And now it is time to transcend beyond name and form, beyond the Jiva Prajna into the Daiva Prajna of the avatar. And then what you realize? That you alone are that. There is no two over there. Like in Mundakopanishad, we have studied the two birds who sit on the tree. Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya samane vrikshe parishasvajate tayoranya piplam swadavati. Out of those two very similar birds, one keeps eating fruits, whereas the anashna abhichakashiti, the other one simply sits and as a witness watches everything that is happening. That is Daiva Prajna. And this lower bird is the Jiva Prajna. And it is not just for the avatar, it is in all beings. Because somebody asked me, so who is an avatar? I told you are an avatar. We had put a lot of pictures in Premamrutam up, avatars, the Vishnu's Dashavatars. And as per the Mysore tradition, they put up Balarama as one of the avatars, and Buddha was not there. Because Buddhism was not there at that time. So one boy asked me, Swami, who is that? I said, that is Balarama avatar. He says, Balarama is also an avatar. I said, you are also an avatar. Should I put your picture over there? I am okay. No, Swami, not mine. You are joking. I said, I am not joking. Truth is that you are also an avatar because you also have a Jiva Prajna and the Daiva Prajna in you. Daiva Prajna is the divine consciousness, the Atman which is ever present, but clouded, covered, shrouded by the Jiva Prajna. I am the body, I am the mind. And this is the problem with the Ajnani. Avatar is Ajnani, all the time is aware. I am actually Daiva Prajna, behaving like a Jiva Prajna. And Ajnani's ways, I am a Jiva Prajna, trying to behave like Daiva Prajna, trying to be God. No. Now the perspectives have to change. So far it was good, you are a human trying to become divine. Not anymore. Now the perspective is you are divine as you are, only behaving like a human because you are influenced by the Jiva Prajna of body and mind. That has to go. But this thinking will not come unless you have purified your mind with service, selfless activities, sadhana. So all that was taught so far is going to help you now to understand these university teachings. Otherwise you will go back to your high school. So primary school is over, Leela, Mahima, all the charm and adoration, adulation and discussions are over. High school of service to mankind is service to God is also coming to an end. But it doesn't mean you stop that, you keep doing that. Just as you build on high school, primary school is the base on which high school is built or learnt. High school subjects are the basis on which university subjects are learnt, like that. After having learned these two, now enter the third phase, the Sankramana, Kushyati iti Krishna, where he delights you. Atmarati, Atma Krida, he said. You live a life of delightful. Krishna is delightful. Why? Because when he is his eyes are open, he's playing in the world. When his eyes are closed, he's playing within himself. Atmarati, Atmakriya. That is the state of mind. That is the personality that you must acquire now. So this Sankramana phase is meant for that. So why this further extension of the avatar in this way? To complete the Sankramana phase. To teach this ultimate truth to everyone, to all people. As I said, Krishna is not of a particular region or a religion. He belongs to all. He is a Jagat Guru. For his teachings are valid to every human, everywhere in the world. Likewise, this Vedanta Vidya, which is now the focus, the Advaita Vidya, which is the focus now in the Sankarmana phase. This one is for all. Sanatana Dharma is for all. And this establishment of Sanatana Dharma in the hearts of all mankind is the ultimate, the acme, the ultimate, the fulcrum, the crux of the mission is this. That Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, or we call Sanatana Vidya, should get established in the hearts of all men and women, of all races, religions, caste, creed, geography, gender, doesn't matter. Because this is for all. There is no separate God in Sanatana Dharma. You are the God being discussed over here. All religions have their gods. In Sanatana Dharma, there is no God. You are the God. That's why it is about you. And so you are the most important person. This is the knowledge which has to be imparted now to all mankind, and all the modifications that are happening in our education, in our ashram, in the messages that are going out from here, and also the changes that are happening in the society and the world at large. It's all to make it conducive for the avatar to play out his role in the mission of spreading Sanatana Dharma. Soon world will be fed up with materialism, with these illusory promises of happiness in material objects, in relationships, in name, fame, position, power. People will be done with all that. A new world has to emerge. But for that the old must go. Both can't exist together. If day has to dawn, night must go. Both cannot exist simultaneously. And therefore, because the new is arriving, the old must go. These are birth pangs of a new era, a new time in the history of mankind. And birth pangs are pangs after all. So let go of our old, let go of our past, let go of our dead habits. It will take some effort. Attachment will be painful. But those who have seen through the entire thing and they have set their eyes on the higher goal, for them letting go of this old is no big deal. But those who are still opening their eyes to this new truth, to this new dawn, letting go of their slumber is a little difficult thing. And therefore this resistance in the world. But all that is happening is perfectly under the divine master plan. Everything is under the great divine design. It could not have been better than what it is. It can't be improved and made any further better than what it is. It is the way it is supposed to be. Take refuge in this fact. Take refuge in this thought that it is perfect the way it is. This is under a great divine design. We may not understand it with our puny minds. He cannot be understood by the mind or described in words. Therefore, this confusion. But let go of this mind, forget about your words, and just experience from the heart everything is perfect as it is. And this all is leading to a very new era, a new page in the chapter of human history, golden page. It's coming already, it has begun. So some pain will be there. Mahabharata war did happen, isn't it, to establish Dharma. You can say so many people were killed, Krishna could have avoided the war, somehow worked on the minds of the Kauravas and transformed them and avoided the whole war. Seemingly Krishna went and failed in his peace efforts. Krishna failed in maintaining peace, the Lord of the universe. So, let us not celebrate Krishnashtami. He failed then and there. Why should we talk? No, because we have seen through the personality of Krishna. So was the Mahabharata war necessary to establish dharma? So many lakhs of people had to be killed on the battlefield. So many men and women had to lose their kith and kin. Yes, that is how Krishna had planned it. So unless there are hard blows, we don't wake up from the slumber. Soft, cajoling words don't make us give up our deep ignorance, sleep of ignorance. Then a few big blows are required. That is when we wake up to this new reality. So a new era has begun, and those who have the sight to see, they will be able to see it. They can see the hand of God in everything. As Kena Upanishad says, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. See God's plan, God's design in every experience of your life. The one who sees that, Ya Pashyati, Sa Pashyati. He alone sees. Otherwise it says, Pashyan napi na pashyati mudaha. The fool cannot see even if it is right in front of his eyes. Because he has the eyes, but he does not have the vision. So the one who has the vision of what's coming clearly knows it is correct, it is appropriate, it is perfect the way it is. This is what will wake up humanity into a new era, a new world, a new dawn, where people will live with this idea that everything is God. They are God and everything is God. And that is the ultimate achievement of the Avatar's mission. For that sake only everything is going on. So be ready, be prepared, be surrendered in your mind, accept things as they come, and take refuge in this idea that everything is under that great divine master plan. We may not understand it, we may or may not be able to talk or describe it, doesn't matter. Just go with the flow and you will realize that how everything is perfect. So that is the Krishnashtami message, that instead of begging and beseeching God to solve our problem, remove this problem and save us from this, save us from that, enough. We've been doing that for a very, very long time. Now let us wake up to this truth that we are indestructible. We are eternal. We have no birth, no death, no middle. We were, are and will be because we are Brahman. We are the divine and nothing less than that. And give up this childish attitude towards things, these unnecessary fears, anxieties, this shivering and shuddering all the time. Give up all this. This weak-mindedness should be given up. And wake up to this new reality, this ultimate reality, that you are divine. That is the time, that is the message of Krishnashtami. And you all should and must put efforts on this path to realize that you are Krishna. You are Krishna not as the body and the form and the name, but Krishna as that universal consciousness which is present in all, at all times, in all places. And realizing that only Ananda Prapti, Kushyati iti Krishna, that mission of Swami, Akhila Manavulaku Anandamunnu Gurchi, Rakshinchutuntute. This is how I will save the humanity. How? By giving them that ultimate knowledge of their existence, that you are God, you must realize it as you live. And with that become full of Ananda. So this is the ultimate reason why avatars come. This is the message of Krishnashtami to all the people who are watching from around the world. Know in your heart everything is perfect. And be happy as you are. Things could not have been better than what they already are. Thinking thus, rejoice, let the life be not just a celebration on one day of one avatar's birthday. Every single day is a celebration because we are alive to this idea that we are divine and therefore we must celebrate this idea. So lot of blessings to everybody around the world. Yes, at physical level you may be missing, I may be missing you, you may be missing me or coming here. But know in our heart of hearts we are one and the same. So therefore, the earlier we realize that, the lesser these problems of missing and will happen. Therefore, realize that in your heart, I am always with you, not with you. As you, I am there. Because we are all one in that divine consciousness. May that consciousness guide our path. May all enjoy this truth in their lives and thereby be always delighted in this awareness. These are the Krishnashtami blessings to all the devotees, all the students, staff, and everyone else who is watching in the ashram and outside. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha mapnuyat. Let everybody be happy. Let everybody be healthy. Let nobody see any sorrow anywhere. Let all see only good and auspicious which is everywhere. Let nobody have any misery, any sorrow. With this prayer to Lord Krishna, we end the program today.